Pollution and climate change have a significant impact on our world, resulting in environmental, health and economic losses. While billions have been spent on incentive mechanisms, the lack of global incentive program limits the ability to accelerate and scale renewable energy production. Introducing Swytch, a blockchain-based incentive program that rewards the production of renewable and sustainable energy. Through the issuance of universal secure tokens, the Swytch blockchain utilizes an IoT-based proof of production and via a decentralized open-sourced oracle, validates and allocates tokens globally to producers of renewable energy. Utilizing a mobile application, users can access the Swytch platform for tracking, storing and spending tokens. With a strong set of partnerships, including academic institutions, city governments, energy experts and technologists, Swytch will create a global network of producers and consumers of renewable energy to create a sustainable future.
Hey guys, my name is Anthony Scarpula from Cryptocurrency Investing, and we're here today with Evan Caron, the co-founder and managing director of Swytch, which is a renewable energy incentive program built on blockchain technology with the ultimate goal of creating a sustainable and equitable energy future. Evan has over 15 years of experience working on Wall Street with a background in commodities and energy trading, from investment banks like Morgan Stanley and Deutsche Bank to global energy merchants. His career spans trading renewable energy investments, project finance, retail energy, and complex structured derivatives and asset management. He also sat on the board of MP2, a US-based retail energy company that focused on renewable energy technology, and they were acquired recently by Shell in 2017. So, Evan, thank you for being here, man.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, of course. So, let's just dive right in. What is Swytch, and what inspired you to create it? You obviously have a background in renewable energy and tech, so yeah, just tell us about.
So just as a background, specifically, we recognize that the current programs associated with renewable energy are really broken. They're geographically constrained. Each market specifically has its own rules and regulations for incentivizing renewable energy and creating alternative ways to basically, just augment the financing of renewable energy development. And so I think that was the thing that really kind of caused us to look to explore how distributed ledger technology and blockchain technology could disrupt those markets. And so Swytch is a blockchain that incentivizes and rewards renewable energy providers, whether that's large rooftop blocks of rooftops or grid scale renewable energy. And basically creates kind of a decentralized data pool for making policy decisions and investment decisions globally. Swytch creates an alternative protocol called the proof of production and leverages IoT-based information and trusted devices to build what we're calling a Swytch economy, which is based off of the value of renewable energy.
Awesome. Yeah. So, what differentiates what you guys are trying to do from other so-called solar coins, maybe like Power Ledger or WePower I've seen?
Yeah. So the first thing is that we're not just a solar coin. We are intending on rewarding all types of renewable energy, from solar to geothermal, hydro, wind, and then as well as other emerging technologies like compressed air storage, incentivizing battery optimization, smart consumption as well. So it's really kind of an overall sustainability token. The Power Ledger Group and WePower, we believe that they are building technology that will eventually be adopted, and we really support those two groups as well. I think most of their focus is microgrid and peer-to-peer trading, as well as project finance, which I think has limitations in the current utility model. Obviously, the utility model is being disrupted, and there is a big place for nanogrids, microgrids, and smart grids, and that's really the big difference. Is that we have a broader vision, and we basically want to operate at every layer rather than just a peer-to-peer trading layer.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that makes sense then. Um,
I think the main goal for us is not necessarily, retail arbitrage, but it's really kind of to accelerate the switch from traditional fossil fuels to renewable energy. And I think that's kind of it's a mission focused project.
right. So, just tell me a bit about what is some of the added benefits of, working on the blockchain as opposed to doing it the old way.
I think if you look at tracking, traceability, verification, and trust in the information, that's where we really believe that blockchain distributed ledger technology is going to really improve the process. Right now, it's bifurcated. There's a lot of manual oversight, third-party auditing, and the information has concerns around fraud, considering how much money is associated with penalties as well as renewable energy credits. So the blockchain allows us to operate directly with either aggregation facilities or directly on the device itself, and allows us to build trust in that information and that data. That data has, it's verified, and then that information has the ability to be, traced to the
Right.
source.
So you kind of just touched upon this one, but what else is broken in the way that alternative energy data is produced and shared today, and obviously creating the need for something like Swytch?
So right now, the current process of establishing yourself as a renewable energy generation facility is pretty laborious. You have to run through multiple layers of audit and registration, and it only favors large industrial and grid scale development. So you with your rooftop system, or anyone in the world really, if they call them revenue grade data. And so a lot of the rooftop systems in the US specifically are not eligible to participate in alternate incentive programs because they can't trust the information coming out of the device. We spent a lot of time developing an Oracle as well as a proof of production protocol that allows us to validate and verify that the energy being produced from a specific device is accurate and can be trusted. And if that information can be trusted and is accurate, then the value, the token value, is legitimate. So I think that's kind of a big difference. The other thing is that the renewable energy incentives in the U.S. specifically under the current administration are not intended on being extended. In the late 90s, early 2000s, there was a lot of effort to provide tax incentives to build renewable energy. And despite there being a revolution and being in the midst of an adoption curve for sustainable technologies, we want to move it much quicker. And so I think that that's really the thing is that why doesn't everyone have a rooftop solar? Why doesn't everyone have an electric car? They will eventually, but I think that the layers of incentive are not strong enough to push everyone in that direction.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, being someone who lives in America, I always find myself looking out at other countries that are far more progressive in those realms, and I'm like, but why? It could be done. It's there,
And I think the world has really kind of turned the corner in terms of really understanding human behavior, especially electricity generation is causing, whether it's climate change or extreme weather conditions or pollution. I mean, it's obvious. If you look at smog in certain countries, in certain cities, there are ways to get much cleaner energy produced, and that comes from these sustainable technologies. So wind, solar, hydro, geothermal. It's not a necessarily question of just being carbon negative or carbon neutral. It's about adopting sustainable technologies and sustainable practices and behavior. And Swytch is the token that will help create that incentive layer and help reward that incentive for doing the right thing, which is basically, not polluting everywhere in every place.
Yeah. So are you guys starting off and targeting countries that already have a solid renewable energy infrastructure, or are you kind of, are you targeting America as well, or how's your approach with that?
So right now we have a global feel, global reach. Our main concentration for our proof of concept pilot happens to be in Germany, we're working with a company called E2M Energy, which is a renewable energy aggregation and optimization service provider. They're a technology company that allows renewable energy and distributed renewable energy to access markets to basically extract additional value from the assets. And so we're working with them. We're going to have over 1.5 gigawatts of capacity, which is pretty sizable when you think about how many assets and how many megawatts that actually, what that actually means. When you look at the scale of that pilot, we will be working with them very closely. So Germany is a big target market for us. They have a significant amount of renewable energy. They created incentives. Some of those incentives have created unintended consequences in some markets. So Germany is a big market for us. South Korea, we're working pretty closely with a lot of groups there to help develop, and integrate into their energy grid, which has a significant amount of coal still on the grid, despite them wanting renewable energy. And then obviously we live, a lot of the core team is in the United States. And so, I'm based in Austin, and we're working with a US-based solar energy developer to basically for them to start adopting the Swytch token, Swytch platform for their new facility. So we want to have the ability to be global, have a global reach, and we will be expanding into other target markets as we grow.
Awesome. Yeah, it sounds like you guys got a good map or reach right now.
Germany is a really good market because it's very regulated. The data pathways are regulated. The utility grid is a very challenging, with a lot of rules, a lot of policies associated with that. So we kind of picked the hardest market to integrate in, and we've got a fairly large pilot and proof of concept that's actually running, that's live. And so we're very excited about our partnership with E2M Energy, and we're excited to grow our partner network there as well.
Awesome. Yeah. So, with that in mind, let's talk a bit more about the underlying ecosystem for Swytch. So it's comprised of a mobile client, which, you have an app, right? You have some nodes, and that's working with IoT devices. I saw there's the Oracle and verified installers. So if you want to just walk us through step by step how those all play together.
So we have a mobile application and a web app that allows you to access a blockchain wallet that allows you to identify energy production off of specific devices, rooftop solar or large industrial grid scale solar or wind. And it has two functions. It has an energy function and it has an estimation function. So the dashboard and the mobile device allows you to estimate what your future token allocation would be if you were to have a device installed in a specific location. And that uses, obviously what we talked about, uses the Oracle. The Oracle is what we're calling a dynamic adaptive control module. So it is a evolving system, not a black box. It will be an open source Oracle. Data will flow into that Oracle from energy producers, energy consumers, energy utilities, data vendors, and data providers to create the fair allocation of tokens globally. And so it'll implement, instead of mining, it's a minting process. That's really it right now. I mean, I think that we can get kind of deep into the technology of the partnerships that we're working with. We currently have a partnership with Berkshire Evident Cloud Solution. They are a blockchain-based technology company that develops basically blockchain infrastructure, and we're using their system right now to create that proof of production. It's called an evident proof, that energy was generated, the location of the energy that was generated, how much energy was generated, and what time the energy was generated. And that information goes very deep into the difference between the current renewable energy credit model now and the token, is that we'll have the ability to, right now, renewable energy is created equal. A REC is a 1 kilowatt or 1 megawatt. It doesn't matter where it was generated or when it was generated. And the power markets are much more complex than just a function of time or just a function of one value. And so we're able to create multiple layers inside of the renewable energy production and really be able to define that value, and the Oracle is able to do that.
Wow, that's really neat.
We'll be able to do that. I mean, we're actively working on the Oracle, and the Oracle will be evolving. The levels of complexity will be significantly higher as we grow, and because the community has the ability to send information to the Oracle and also participate as an Oracle member, that the data and the resolution of the model will increase the more participants are inputting information to the Oracle.
Gotcha. So, how will the data aggregation in this Oracle kind of radically change how investment and policy making decisions are made?
Well, I think for us is that the success of the Oracle minting algorithm allocates tokens based off of what we're calling direct impact. It's basically the Oracle is going to basically use aggregated information and data globally to identify what markets specifically are going to have the most impact, where renewable energy has the most impact. And so if you look at two markets, if you're in Northern California versus the Caribbean, the energy produced in the Caribbean, the offset for energy produced in the Caribbean is going to be offset with diesel, fuel oil, really kind of highly polluted facilities. Whereas removing 1 megawatt or 1 unit of dirty power in the Caribbean is worth more to the world than removing 1 megawatt of natural gas or some other renewable energy in Northern California. So the Oracle is going to help provide policy decisions on where renewable energy should be invested globally, or where the most impact is going to be, whether it's financial impact or socioeconomic impact or impact on pollution. The Swytch platform will hopefully be able to help create policy decisions and investment decisions and steer investments into different markets, markets that historically have been ignored. So that means developing markets, and island markets. That's what's really exciting about this. Is it's not just for people who can afford a rooftop system. It's even for a small system in a developing market where that yields a significant impact to global energy production.
Yeah, wow, that's fascinating. So how will you guys get the data from the Oracle out, into, I guess, the public consciousness, especially, in these countries that might need it more? Are you guys going to do the reach out eventually?
So I think the community, I think their goal is the way that we're working now is we're engaging directly with cities and city stakeholders. So rather than kind of looking at a bottom-up approach of having to talk to all the consumers in the world, all the energy consumers in the world, which is unlikely to, it's a pretty big problem to scale. I think the goal is really, our goal is to focus on our partnerships, our partners specifically, and partner cities to really push adoption of Swytch. And the data that flows into the Oracle is open source. And so it's part of the Swytch utility token, is that if you participate in the Swytch network, you'll have access to that data, and then that data can be to be used in many different ways. The data can be used for energy optimization, real-time energy production and growth globally, attribution, and it really kind of gives us much better access to quality energy intelligence. Energy intelligence is going to be the next wave of cost savings and optimization for the future, right? It's not just about energy production, but it's also about energy consumption, and obviously machine learning, artificial intelligence, creating solutions and tools to create a much more efficient global energy grid. A lot of money and power is actually wasted in the current energy models, and that money and power, what I mean by power is electricity, can be used and optimized out, and there's a significant amount of money that can be saved with better data, better information.
Yeah, wow, awesome. So can we just talk a bit more about the actual utility of this, of Swytch as an ERC20 token?
So not only does the token allow you to have access to the energy intelligence and energy data, but our goal is to use it as a staking token as well for local incentives and local programs. And so the ability for one city or one municipality to create to look to basically increase the adoption of renewable energy can be done locally. So we have a global network token that can act locally like a local currency. And we're really excited about that, for the ability for any city or any community to create local incentives that are either short-term in period of time or capped, but can really focus adoption for renewable energy in those target markets.
Wow. So can you toss us a few examples of some possible incentives that these cities might create?
So right now, cities have what we're calling static incentives. Static incentives are done by government administrators who basically say, okay, well, I'm going to provide $1 million so that everyone can get LED lights, right? And those programs have a fair amount of bureaucracy associated with them. They're static in terms of they don't have the dynamic feedback. And so if everybody is buying LED lights and you're actually incentivizing the same type of behavioral change, and it's capped too low, then you basically get periods of adoption and then plateau. And so you get technological innovation and adoption and then plateaus because the systems are not dynamic, they don't move. And so that's kind of the goal. So let's say we're sitting in Austin, and Austin wants to incentivize a push for an extra 10 megawatts of solar to be installed. The current process is very, it's burdensome, it's regulatorily burdensome in the fact that it has to go through multiple layers of city government, approvals, etc. And it's not dynamic, so the incentive could be wrong, right? It could be, if they're not getting enough adoption, then the incentive program is wasted. And if they're getting too much adoption, then basically, it gets capped pretty quickly. So that's kind of the idea, is to have more dynamic incentives and allow cities to basically run their own programs for renewable energy, but use a universal token for that.
Wow, that's a beautiful vision, man.
That's what we're trying to accomplish here. I think the main goal is to really, be inclusive, have cities participate, city mayors, large corporate organizations. I mean, the companies that we're working with now are top tier companies. We're working with Black & Veatch, which is one of the largest global critical human infrastructure developers in the world. They build power plants, they build wastewater treatment facilities, they build battery farms, they build power lines, smart grids, and we're working with them as one of our core partners to be able to make this vision happen.
Awesome. So, I just had a question to backtrack a bit. Say I am just an individual living in Arizona right now, and I do have solar on my roof, and I love what you guys are doing. How would I get a hold of you, and how would I integrate, the Swytch mobile apps and everything into what we already have going on my roof?
Yeah, so the goal is to work in two ways. One is to work with the solar installers that installed your rooftop system, because again, it's hard to market directly to just you. And so our goal is to work with solar installers like SunPower and Sunrun and Tesla Solar City to work with installers, create incentives for them to register systems. But the idea is basically you have a rooftop system, you register via an IoT device your rooftop system into the Swytch network, and you become a participant of sending data to an oracle. That data is going to be in the form of renewable energy generation at your household, at your geolocation, geo and time-stamped. And for participating and sending that information to the oracle, you will mint Swytch Energy tokens. And those Swytch Energy tokens will be sent to your wallet, similar to a coin-based type of generation. And then you are free to do what you want with your token, right? You can send, spend, trade, exchange, not on our platform, but you can do what you need to do with that token.
So is there any cost for the individual to, hop on the Swytch platform? No?
No, the cost is the investment that you made in renewable energy, right? We're not trying to create multiple layers of registration or require hardware devices. Currently, our goal is to integrate directly with the smart meter and the metering device via a secure, trusted framework. And that's why we're excited that we're working with a company called Autonomy, which is going to be building the security protocols that we're going to be leveraging off of the IoT devices to get directly to the production meter and then trust that information is accurate and validated.
Wow. So tell us a little bit more about that. So will individuals need the IoT devices, or am I missing that? Yeah.
The IoT devices, the thing with IoT is that if the information is not trusted, then the data that flows into any Oracle or the data that flows out of an IoT device is not worth anything, and it just becomes noise. And our goal is to work with Autonomy to create trust in the device, on the device itself, and that information becomes trusted they're calling it at the edge. And that information, we can believe that information to be true directly from the device, rather than having to require expensive computation for validation. So the device is actually doing the validation and sending that valid, trusted information to an Oracle. That's what's exciting about this, is that without that security layer, there could be issues of spoofing. There could be issues associated with traditional blockchain technology now, double spend, et cetera. So that's our goal, is to really work directly with the data. And we're, data is not a four-letter word. It's very complex and it's very deep. IoT devices are exciting, but we have to make sure that we can trust the information from the device itself. And so we're building trust in a network, a secure trust in a hardware network. And our goal is to work with the Autonomy solution to accomplish that.
Great. Wow. So let's change gears a little bit. So let's talk roadmap, and can you tell us a bit more about where you see Swytch in the next few years?
So as of now, obviously we're working through our initial token generation event. After that, we are going to be building out our Oracle and start working directly with large utility and utility scale solar and wind development projects, continuing to increase our partnerships with data intelligence providers and validators and estimators, and then work towards do everything we can to work towards pulling information directly from the IoT device and edge device, so that anybody in the world who's connected, that's made an investment in renewable energy, can be their own bank, really can mint their own tokens, and can contribute to a global adoption of sustainable renewable technology. So that's really our path, and it can be done pretty quickly. And then we're going to be spending the better part of our time engaging with cities, smart cities, developers, utilities for adoption. I mean, that's really where we're pushing this.
Wow, I'm excited to see you guys grow and do your thing. And
there's a lot of technology development to be done. And the good thing about the open source Oracle is something that we're really going to be focused pretty aggressively on, because I think that the typical Oracles are very centralized and they're black box. And we're going to be spending a lot of time creating models and creating data that anyone can utilize. And we're going to be working very closely with Cityscope, which is a partnership with Larson Living Labs, and they are working with smart cities to create and design cities of the future, and really embed renewable energy and renewable technology into how to design cities for better mobility, better transportation, renewable and sustainable energy, and really kind of improve lives. Really, we're going to be working with that partnership and expanding to those cities next year as well.
And where are those cities generally located?
They're located in there's a lot in Europe, Amsterdam and Barcelona. Those are two big cities that the group is working with now, and we're going to be integrating, and they're going to be using the Swytch token to power some of their algorithms and really leverage and send it and be a data participant to the Oracle.
Yeah, you should check out.
That's a project with MIT Media Lab, the City Sciences Group, and a private company.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I don't know if you saw Bill Gates basically bought up an entire city in Arizona with the plans of creating a giant smart city. So I'm sure they could use your services out there.
Yeah, I think that if you look at designing a city from the ground up, typical city design is done by regulation and city planning and city permits, and it really doesn't necessarily work to optimize mobility, housing, affordability, and quality of life. Right.
Mhm.
I think that the new a lot of the new cities are going to be basically trying to optimize around a common good, and I'm excited for those projects. I'm excited for the projects that we're working on, and really any project that is going to have sustainable renewable energy focus, we want to work with at Swytch. We want to partner with, we want to pilot, and we want to help them accomplish their goals.
Awesome, man. So, just to close it out, tell us a little bit more about the specifics regarding your upcoming ICO sale. I believe it starts in February, right?
Yeah, so right now we're running our pre-sale. We're working with a company called BTC Labs. BTC Labs has launched a fair amount of projects in the crypto space. We are leveraging technology that they've built to host a platform called CoinCart. So we're going to be working with BTC Labs and CoinCart specifically to host the token generation event, the token sale. So right now we're in a pre-sale for large investors, not necessarily whales, but we're in a pre-sale now, and that'll go live on Friday, and then we will be running and starting our public sale starting February 15th, and we'll run that for a month. We'll do our typical security audit and financial audit, and then hopefully have a token launched shortly thereafter. So we're looking at kind of go time now, and the next 45 days we'll have a lot more to share and a lot more to show, and we're really excited. We have a lot of traction already, a lot of commitments from investors globally, and we're excited to continue to grow and build our technology and team and try to change the world. That's our goal.
Awesome, man. I love it. I love connecting with companies like yourself that, are actually trying to make a tangible difference in the world, because, man, we surely need it right now.
Yeah, it's crypto with a cause. And I think, for us, we identified, and kind of just to close it out, we identified a really interesting moment in time, a rapid acceleration in innovation in renewable energy technology and sustainable technology that coincide directly with new financing mechanisms and distributed ledger technology. And the fact that they're all crossing each other's paths at this point in time allows us to actually create something that can scale globally and scale very quickly and actually accomplish the goals, right? And really, even reducing one megawatt or 100 megawatts or 1,000 megawatts of highly pollutant fossil fuel generation is going to be successful. It's going to mean success to the project.
Yeah, I mean, are you guys partnering with any kind of renewable or green mining companies too out there?
So we're talking to them. We want to support the crypto community specifically, whether it's a proof of work project or something that has what I call high computational cost. And we want to align directly with the miners that are utilizing renewable energy, low impact renewable energy, low impact sustainable energy to secure their networks, right? So that's really the goal is to continue to reach out for specific outreach to the community that is utilizing renewable energy for their proof of work consensus building. So we're excited, and we have reached out to a few currently, and we're figuring out how to work directly with them. Awesome,
man. Great. Well, just to close it out, final thing, where can people find you and connect with you online, social media?
So we have a Telegram page, and you can find that on our website. We only have one website. It's www.swytch.io. There's no other sites out there that are going to be promoting or marketing us. We have just one website, one contribution platform. So we're on Telegram. We have Twitter, and we have a Facebook, and that could all be found on Swytch.io's website.
And just to jump in, Swytch is spelled SWYTCH.
That's right. Cool. Yep. So there's a Y instead of an I. So that's our big difference there.
Awesome. Well, Thank you so much for your time. Once again, Evan Caron, the co-founder and managing director of Swytch, a renewable energy incentive program built on blockchain technology. Thank you so much for your time, man.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.